Hi, thanks for joining me. The card we're going to be making today is this one right here. This is a gatefold card, and as you can see, it opens up just like that. Isn't that cute? This is what we're going to be making today. So let's go ahead and get started on this card. What you're going to need first is your base piece of cardstock. I've used the pumpkin pie. You're going to cut this at 8.5 by 5.5. Then you're going to take your paper cutter and use your scoring blade, and you're just going to score this card at 2 1/8, and then again at 6 3/8. And you're just going to fold that on the scored lines. Just like that. Now I'm going to give you the measurements for the rest of the card. You're going to have two panels on the front, and those panels are going to have mats. So you're going to cut your mats at 1 7/8 by 5 1/4, and you're going to need 2 mats. And then for the panels, you're going to cut them at 5 by 1 3/4, and again, you're going to need 2 of those. Then also, to get your image on the front, you're going to need 3 more pieces. You're going to need 2 mats for this one, plus the piece for your image. Now here I've used for the image, I'm using Very Vanilla, and you're going to cut this piece at 3.5 by 1 3/4. For the first mat, I used Rich Razzleberry, and you're going to cut this one at 3 3/4 by 2. And for the base mat, I've used Melon Mambo, and you're going to cut this one at 4 by 2 1/4. So those are all your measurements. So what you're just going to do to get started is you're going to mat your 2 panels. And just stick those on there like that. This is my very, very first video tutorial, so you'll have to bear with me. I think for the next one, I'll coerce my husband into sending me to get my nails done. So those are your panels, and we can go ahead and stick those right onto the card. So you just line them up with your 2 front panels on your card. And there you have that. I love the way that the colors coordinate together. The pumpkin pie, raspberry lemonade, and the melon mambo, I think they just look so pretty together. Okay, now you're going to go ahead and for my image, I'm using the Crazy for Cupcake stamp set, and I'm using 2 stamps from that set. So you're going to stamp your image. I'm using the black Stays On. I find it just gives a bit of a sharper image. So you're just going to ink that up. And then just stamp it down. Like that. Perfect. I'm just going to set aside the Stays On here. And once you've done that, then you can go ahead and add the wording on top. And for that, I've used the pumpkin pie ink pad and the Happy Birthday to You stamp from that same stamp set, Crazy for Cupcakes. And you're just going to stamp that down right over top of the cupcakes. Perfect. Okay, so that's how that looks. Okay, now what we can go ahead and do is mount our image to our base pieces. So you're going to mount it first on your rich raspberry. And then adhere that to your melon mambo. Now, what I did, because I just wanted to add a little bit extra, I decided that I didn't want to color it. I kind of liked the way that it looked with just the black ink on it, but it needed a little something. So, you know, when in doubt, use dazzling diamonds. So, all you're going to need right now is your two-way glue pen, and just dot a little bit of that onto the cherries. And then just using your Dazzling Diamonds glitter, I'm just going to shake a little bit on here. Like that. And then tap it back into your container. I really need to start using a Tupperware container and spoon. Maybe you'll see that in my next video. Just brush off the excess there. And you're left with, I don't know if it's picking that up in the video, but it's just a nice little bit of shimmer on there. Really gives it a little something extra. So then what you're going to do next is set aside your image, and you're going to get your card ready to thread through the ribbon. So as you can see here, I've attached some Melon Mambo polka dot ribbon here, and I'm going to show you how I did that in the top corner. You're going to want your slit punch, and you just want to give it a little punch here. And then you want to turn it around, and this is going to be a little tougher because technically these punches are only supposed to go through one piece of cardstock, and I'm putting it through two, but you'll find it's pretty darn strong. So you're just going to give it a second punch there. And then you can just take your ribbon. Here's a little tip for you. If you don't like to waste your ribbon, thread and tie before you cut. So I've had actually a few people ask me how to do that. How you do it is simple. Just go through this way first, and you'll pull it through and bring it, can you see what I'm doing here, I hope? Bring it back up around this one. And this way it lets you tie it and measure it without cutting it first, so you don't waste any ribbon. Now, I do not do bows, ever. You will never see me do a bow on a video tutorial. I do knots. They are simpler, and I have huge respect for those who can tie bows. So what I did was just went ahead and tied a little knot here. You may have to just adjust it when you tie it a little bit. I wanted the polka dots to be showing. If it doesn't matter to you, then that's totally up to you. So you're just going to give it a little pull through there. I'm going to use my paper snips. Trim it there. And trim it here. Okay, so there you have it. The ribbon tied right through there. As you can see, I just did a little hole punch on the crease and then one at the edge. So now you're ready to go ahead and put on your image. I decided to use dimensionals just to give it a little something extra. So I'm going to flip it over and just put on my dimensionals. I'm just going to do 3 along this edge right here. Oops, there we go. And then you're just going to stick it down. And there you have it. There's your gatefold card. Now, if you want to do something on the inside as well, like I did on this one, you can. I just took my rich raspberry again and some very vanilla, matted it, stamped some wording on the inside, and then also use the balloon, which is from the same Crazy for Cupcake stamp set, just to give it a little something extra. So that's my tutorial for today. Hope you enjoyed it and can use it, and we will see you again. Bye-bye.